Have you ever heard the saying that when the teacher or when the student is ready, the teacher will appear? Well, almost 2 years ago, I longed to change my own life from, that depression, that discontent, right? That unfulfilled way of being. And I longed for more abundance in my life. So I met Bob Proctor and quickly became one of his company consultants. I wanted to be coached by him and do what he was doing, teaching all over the world. And of course, when Bob started teaching these principles all over the world, for him meant being face-to-face. All over the world today can mean face-to-face and, here on Zoom. But I wanted to learn from him and about the laws of the universe and to get unblocked and to create more abundance, because that is exactly what Bob was teaching and showing people how to do, to help them shift their mindsets. And because that is exactly what was holding me back, that is the reason why I decided to become one of his company consultants. He was making the difference I wanted to make. He was experiencing the financial abundance that I longed for. And he was 80 years old. And so he was still teaching and studying for a very long time. I wanted to learn everything I could from Bob before he passed away, this time last year. Bob was teaching in front, I had the privilege. He was teaching in front of an audience of about 3,000 people on the subject of money blocks. And while he was on stage, he didn't say a word at first. And he reached into his pocket, pulled out his wallet, right? Opened up his wallet, and he pulled out a stack of money. And he started fanning the money. He started fanning like hundreds, 50s, 20s, and he held it up so that we all could see the money. And then he began to speak and he said this is money. And I love money. When he did that, I'm not going to kid you, I judged. I totally just pulled back in my seat because I also felt judged. I felt critical of him. I actually had the thought of, why am I even listening to him talk about money? And I judged him. I said something like, he's not, I related it to him not being spiritual. So why did I waste my time on listening to him? That was another thought that came up. And then he put the money back in his pocket and he said, let me ask everyone this question, but I don't want you to raise your hands. This is what he said. He said, when I did what I did you have any thoughts or criticism about me? Did you feel any feelings of repulsion about me? Did you maybe have any thoughts that I wasn't a spiritual guy because I started flashing money? And that shocked me because remember, I judged him. I actually judged him because I started to think, I had money blocks. That is what it all boils down to. So he said, let me ask you another question. Instead of doing what I did, what if I had instead came up on stage and not flash money, but I walked out on stage with this darling little girl who's about 3 years old with her hand in my hand. You look at this little girl and you absolutely think she's the cutest. I pick her up and I hold her, I hold her up for the entire group to see. And if you're looking at this little girl, I say this is my granddaughter. I just love my granddaughter. Not one of you would have felt critical or judgmental, and maybe that I'm not spiritual. And this is what Bob said to everybody in the audience. Would you not have judged me if I had my, because I have my granddaughter and not, would you have judged me if I didn't show you a stack of money, right? And here's what he was getting at. We've all been programmed to believe that it's not okay to love the symbol of your own freedom, right? Of money, right? It's a symbol for you to be able to go. When I say symbol, I'm talking about money. Money is a symbol for you to be able to go and do what you want and to give what you want in this lifetime. Money is only good for two things: to make you comfortable enough so that you can be creative enough to give. Well, all of this shocked me when I was listening to Bob, as he pointed out that I had, not just me, but anyone in the audience who was feeling a certain kind of way, that we had blocks to money. And even though I said I wanted money, I still had blocks. And he also said at the end, he said this: remember what we're talking about. We're talking about money, and money hurt you. So why would money go where money is not wanted? That was big for me. Why would money go where money is not welcome? Money can't really flow into us the way we want it to flow into us if we have a block, if we are blocked. So what he introduced me to was that while I said I wanted more abundance in my life, I had hidden internal blocks that were actually repelling the very thing that I said I wanted. And chances are, if you've been wanting more abundance in your life as well, you too, at some level, are most likely repelling that success with unconscious blocks. So let me explain. You and I live in a world that operates by infinite universal laws. You're familiar with the law of gravity, right? You're familiar with the law of electricity. Both of those laws are invisible laws. There are universal laws for how things occur that are visible, that are invisible as well.